It's time for Let's Get Real with your host from Bob Richards and Associates, Bob Richards.
Hey, Bob, how you doing?
Michael, I'm doing great. Good afternoon to you.
Good afternoon to you, too. I'm just sitting here rocking out to your theme song. That's pretty cool.
Can't go wrong with that.
We love those little guitar licks at the end.
Yes, sir.
Don't we?
Yes,
That's
sir.
cool. Well, Bob, I understand that you brought a special friend with you today.
I did today. Michael, I've got a great man by the name of Bill Hudson. He is with Providence Insurance here in St. George. For anything real estate related on the insurance part of things, Bill is a great contact to have, but he also does auto and all sorts of other insurance. So I brought him here to share with everybody more about what he does for a living.
Well, that's cool. Bill, welcome to the show.
Thank you so much. Excited to be here.
Well, we are indeed lucky to have you here today. And since this is kind of a real estate-oriented show, isn't it? Right, Bob?
It is. It is, yeah.
I think we do talk a lot about real estate and things like that. I will just bet that Bill has some insights as to the insurance industry and how it can benefit homeowners and people who have real estate. Isn't that true?
You find none better than Bill Hudson.
Wow. So, Bill,
It's quite the honor, quite the
is.
testimonial.
Very
right?
true.
it is. Okay, show's over. We're done. No.
That's all we needed.
That's all we need. See you guys later. So, Bill, tell me here, why the heck do I need insurance on my home? I have enough bills to pay. I already bought this house. I paid him like $1 zillion. Now I go buy insurance with you? Come on.
Right. I like to say to people that insurance is that one thing that you pay for all the time that you hope you never have to use. Insurance is there to make you whole in the event of a loss, in the event of a catastrophic situation happening. Your home burns down. You have water pipes break. Your roof has shingles blow away. Things like that. Things that are catastrophic and sudden. That's the terminology that is used in insurance for things that might happen to your home that would be covered for the insurance companies.
Also, as I understand it, I can't even get a loan if I don't have insurance.
Yeah, every mortgage company will require that you have home insurance. They want to make sure that their investment, that the money that they've given you, will be that the asset is always there. The home will always be there.
Okay, so about the home, I got the loan.
Yep.
I've got the insurance.
Yep.
Why do you guys keep raising my rates? Why is my insurance premiums going up? It's like, what's going on here, man?
It's so crazy. It's been really interesting in the last few years. Insurance rates seem to keep climbing. But last year, as a whole in the United States, insurance companies lost almost $68 billion.
Whoa.
The largest insurance company for home insurance, State Farm, actually lost over $8 billion last
Oh my
year.
gosh, $8 billion.
$8 billion. So when you look at those, there's losses from things like natural disasters, fires, hurricanes, and then just the building material costs have shot through the roof over the last few years. And so what that's done is it's made your home insurance go up, because what your home 3 years ago could be insured for, let's say, $300,000. Well, now it's $450,000. Your rates are going to go up because of that, because it costs more to repair it, more to replace it, and all those things.
So in Utah, do we have things like fire areas where if you live in one of those areas, they're going to charge you more money?
Question.
So there's some, there's what they call, there's multiple different things. So cities are rated based on how many fire stations they have, how many fire hydrants they have, different things like that. So St. George City, Washington City, have a lower fire score because of that, because they have more full-time fire personnel. So there's people full-time in the fire stations. In other places where they don't, where they're volunteer fire, the score is higher, so you're rated a little higher. And then there's areas like when you get up in the mountains and things like that where they call it a fire line score, and many carriers won't even go near that because there's wildfires that can come through and they don't want to touch it.
So Bob, when you're out showing property, so let's say I give you my parameters, I've been approved by a lender, I'm ready to go, and I find these beautiful homes. When you're showing property, do you, number one, are you required to disclose to me that this is in a fire zone? And even if you're not required, do you do it anyway? Because, you know, this guy's going to raise my insurance rates.
He's going to give you the best rates.
The best,
no matter what that
the
is.
highest rates.
Right, right. You know, Michael, let's get real. Absolutely. Disclose. That is my responsibility as a realtor and working with people that are interested in buying, finding out what their risk factor is based upon fire, even flood zones and flood insurance, as well as other insurance policies. And then also you talked about fire hydrants. My dog uses one, but I think the firefighters do too. And so what's the proximity of the fire hydrant to the residents, and how does that affect the rates as well? So yeah, definitely do disclose that information.
So I know that you and Bill wanted to chat about this, but somebody tell me, what does my home insurance not cover? So when I'm buying a house from you, what are you going to tell me that my home insurance with Bill is not going to cover? Is that?
Yeah, no, that's very true. Let's just talk about the dirt. If there's some sort of a disaster or catastrophic event and the house goes away or burns down or gets flooded or whatever causes that damage, well, the dirt's still there. And so they're not insuring the dirt. They're insuring the structure because that can be rebuilt on that lot, on that dirt. And so that's one thing that they do not cover. There's other riders or endorsements that they can add to that so that you have coverage in case that there's an area that's a little bit close to a flood zone, or just even earthquake insurance. A number of other things that Bill would talk about. Bill, what do you think along those lines?
Yeah, so flood insurance is not a flood is not covered in a home insurance policy. Earthquake coverage is not included in a standard home insurance policy. Home insurance policies don't cover things like rodent damage. So if you have a mice get in your home and they eat some wires or some insulation, they're not going to cover that. That's not going to happen. They're not going to cover things that are normal wear and tear. Your roof shingles have to be replaced after a certain period of time. Just because they have to be replaced does not make that an insurance problem. It's as if it's like your paint that wears away. Your insurance company isn't going to pay to repaint your home because the paint's faded. Roof tiles break down over a period of time, and so it's the homeowner's responsibility to pay for those things. Now, if there's severe wind or hail that damages the roof, your insurance company could pay for it depending on how much damage is done. And so you have to be really careful what your policy includes. It also does not include water that comes back in through the water lines or sewer lines. We see that in flooding around the city. So maybe your neighborhood doesn't flood, but the sewer system gets overwhelmed and it pushes water through your toilets, back up into your basement, and your basement gets flooded. Most insurance policies do not cover that. There is an endorsement, which is an endorsement is a change to the insurance policy that you can get for a certain, and so those are things that you may want to take a look at.
So what about if the water pipes break in the wall in my bathroom?
Okay.
Floods the whole bathroom.
Yep.
Floods the bedroom.
Yep.
Floods the hall.
Yep.
And they have to, and then there's black mold all over the place. They got to knock off the walls. They have to, now there's a hole between the master bedroom and the garage. And I mean, fictitiously, the person that had this happen to them has to go now live in a hotel for 8 weeks while they put this whole thing back together and get environmental certifications that, I mean, is all that covered by the homeowner's insurance?
Usually that will be covered by a homeowner's policy. The terminology, like I said in the beginning, is catastrophic and sudden and catastrophic. And so a pipe bursting is sudden. It's catastrophic. You've had this loss. So a normal home insurance policy would cover the water damage. It would cover, the remediation of all the water, getting everything cleaned up, repaired. It would cover everything except the repair to that water pipe, because the water pipe is yours. It's the water pipe they don't cover, but they cover the damage from the water pipe.
Really?
It's a minor cost, and so you probably would never see it. But in the terminology of a home insurance policy, it does not cover the pipe.
So if there's a deductible, let's say I have a $500 deductible, and the cost of the pipe is $9.85. My deductible is going to be $509.95.
Well, I would think that most remediation companies might cover that for for you because that loss. But technically, you would be responsible for the repair of that break.
Wow, that's kind of interesting.
Yeah.
So, I mean, we were talking a little bit about what's covered in an insurance policy, and Bob, you started. So we've got the dwelling. We're not covering the dirt. We've got the dwelling.
Right.
What other stuff is covered?
I'll mention just a couple of others. The microwave, the stove, the refrigerator, the plug, the outlets, the light switch, the ceiling fan that doesn't turn on, or missing light bulbs, or, a cracked toilet seat. Now, that doesn't happen too often, but you know what? I'm sorry, folks, it's just not covered. So those are more maintenance items for the homeowner to take care of, either present maintenance, deferred maintenance. It's just part of being a homeowner. And so you don't want to make claim after claim after claim, because eventually the insurance company is going to say, we're done with you, and we're going to cancel the policy because you're making too many claims that really you should just take care of yourself and not file on your insurance policy, especially for those $9.95 whatever changes.
And that's actually in the market that we're in right now. Insurance agents, us insurance nerds, we consider it a harder market because so many companies are losing money. They're really tightening up the type of business that they want. And so what we're seeing from these companies is people who have more than one claim. Many companies don't want to even offer them an insurance policy. They're not even willing to talk to them about offering an insurance policy. And so what happens is you have people who, they've never filed a claim before. No problem. They've had their home for 20 years, and one day a water pipe breaks. The line to the refrigerator breaks. They catch it pretty quick. But there's $1,500 in damage. They have a $1,000 deductible. So the insurance company, they file the claim, they get a $500 check. $500 covers it. Great, no problem. But 6 months later, the water line to the dishwasher breaks. No one sees that because they're out of town for 4 days. They come back, the kitchen's destroyed. Now they have a $30,000 damage. The next year, their insurance company drops them because now they've had two claims. One of them was little. It was only $500. But two claims in a year, they're not going to. And now I go out to the market to try and find a company that will insure them, and our options are really limited. So it's really important as homeowners that we understand the value of the insurance itself. Yes, $500 is $500, and if you can't afford it, then make the claim. But if you can afford that $500, maybe save that claim for another day.
A big rainy day rather than just a little bit of sprinkle.
Yeah, I think you're right. What are the things make up an insurance policy?
So the main things that go into a homeowner's insurance policy is the dwelling coverage. So the dwelling coverage is the estimated rebuild cost of the home, and that can vary based on the quality of construction, all the different, how many square footage of it, all those things, and that's a tough number to nail down because unlike an auto insurance policy, so in your auto insurance, when you buy an insurance policy for your auto, if you're in an accident, they're just going to pay to repair or replace your car, right? It's just
simple as
doesn't
that.
matter. Simple.
Yeah.
No matter what it costs, you've bought the insurance for that. Now a home's different. You insure it for the value of the replacement cost. So if you insure it for $300,000, but it costs $400,000 to rebuild it because building materials have gone up, you're out. You have to come up with $100,000 out of pocket. We actually saw this in December of 2021 out near Denver, Colorado. There was a massive wildfire 3 days after Christmas, and almost 1,000 homes burned down in this massive fire that whipped through this city. And what happened is you had people who had bought homes even a year before. We've all been through these markets where in the last few years a home will increase so significantly. So let's say they bought their home a year prior for $400,000. Now it's worth $500,000. They were out $100,000 to repair or replace their home. Not only that, but building material prices spiked because now 1,000 homes had to be rebuilt. So what the building material that was $100 now is $150. So you had poor people out there that had lost everything, and now they have to somehow come up with $200,000 just to rebuild their home that they've had insured. And so it's really important that we look at that your insurance company, your professional insurance professional, make sure that those numbers match. Now, there's other things that can be done. I have access to some carriers that guarantee the replacement of your home up to $5 million, up to a certain dollar amount. They say, this is what we think it's going to be, but we're going to guarantee no matter what, we'll rebuild it. Awesome, right? There's others that say, okay, we're going to insure it for $400,000, but we're going to give you an addendum, an endorsement, and say we'll go an additional 50% above and beyond that. So if it goes up to, we'll go up to $600,000. But there's a lot of companies out there that don't offer that because people are looking for cheap. If you're looking for cheap, it's not going to be there when you need it.
Yeah. That brings up a good point. There were a lot of beautiful homes out there in Denver that got burned up. Bob, I understand that you have a beautiful home that you would like to share with us today.
I do, Michael.
Tell us a little bit about this thing.
You know what? This is what you would call a hot buy, kind of segueing from the fire. And
It's not on fire.
No, it's not on fire. No. This is an absolutely incredible home right across the way from the Stonecliff subdivision, a beautiful subdivision called River Hollow. This home is about 8,800 square feet. That's a big house. Wow. It has a main level, an upstairs, and a basement. 8 bedrooms, 8.5 bathrooms, home theater, 3 family rooms, 2 offices, 3 kitchenettes, a huge main level kitchen. Oh my goodness sakes, 4-car garage plus an RV garage. 3rd acre that's just absolutely immaculately maintained. The landscaping is just plush and lush. And this community has its own community pool and pickleball courts and park just for the residents of the subdivision. Wow. Great house. We've got it priced at $2.335, $850. Got to have the $850 on there,
of course,
and
39 cents.
Exactly. Yeah. Well, we do. Yeah, we'll waive the 39 cents. Okay. And absolutely a great house. So if it's something that might be of interest for somebody, just off of 1450 South, just across the street from the Stonecliff subdivision.
In St. George.
In St. George. So if they need to give me a holler, be glad to get them in and have them take a look.
That's a beautiful, beautiful place.
They'll need to plan on about an hour and bring a lunch.
Bring a lunch.
Bring a lunch, because it's going to take a little while to get through that house.
Oh,
They'll be hungry afterwards.
That makes sense. Okay. Yeah. Shall I order now?
I would order now, yes. Jimmy John's not quite yet.
Okay. I have a question to ask Mr. Bill here.
Yeah.
That's okay. So here's the question, I think, for both of you. So, Bob, I just bought a house. I just bought that house from you. 2.3, was it 2.3?
Yeah.
Something, and 39 cents.
39 cents.
So I buy the house, I get the loan, and I got an insurance policy from Big Ed's Bait Shop and Insurance Company in some little place in Podunk, Iowa. Okay. And I'm not happy with them. And you come to me and say, you know what, Michael, you should really think about getting new insurance with this Bill Hudson guy I know over at Providence Insurance. And I decide that I'm going to switch insurance companies. So if I do that, am I going to be penalized by the lender because now I'm changing insurance companies, which is different from the one that I originally got the loan on?
Right.
Can I switch insurance policies and providers with no penalty and no problem or any hassle from my lender?
Yes.
Okay.
Absolutely. And that's what's awesome about Bill and making that transition from the Podunk Insurance Agency to what he has to offer is it's totally seamless. As a consumer, you have no idea. There's nothing that you need to do. You don't need a blood sample. You don't need to promise a kidney. He just takes care of things from the other company over to what he has to offer. Done and done. And that's a great thing that he has the talents and the abilities to do.
How long have you worked with Bill over here?
Number of years.
A number of years.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
Looks like a good number.
It's a good number. Yeah. North of 3.
North of 3.
Yeah.
That's good. Well, you know what, Bill?
Yeah.
We have enjoyed having you as a guest
Very much so.
on the show today. Do you have any insurance-oriented words of wisdom you'd like to leave with us before we take off?
I just like to tell people, make sure you have an insurance professional in your life. Don't rely on a 1-800 number. The 1-800 number, they don't care who you are. You're never going to get the same person twice. Talk to somebody local who knows you, who knows your community, who knows, who cares about you and can care about the things that you are doing in your life. Somebody who's been around for a little bit. I've lived here 30 years almost now. Seen this place grow to a crazy, in a crazy way, and I care about making sure people are covered. So even if I can't help you, I'm happy to please give me a call. Let's make sure that your policy looks good. First of all, let's make sure that you're going to be covered in the case that something does happen. Because there's nothing worse than spending $1,000 a year for an insurance policy and then finding out it's not actually going to cover anything.
Yeah, that's a good point. Yeah. Well, let's do this. Let's say somebody's watching right now and they want to buy that beautiful house.
There's millions of people watching right now.
Yeah, I know, millions, billions. In fact, the phone lines are lighting up.
They are.
And so the house is about to have a new owner, and they want to have you do their insurance. How can they get a hold of you?
The easiest way is to give me a call. Office number is 435-767-7144. You can call or text that number.
What number? Say it again.
435-767-7144.
Oh my gosh. I knew he had it in him.
He did.
Did you hear that radio announcer
that
voice?
was awesome.
Oh my gosh. So he's an insurance guy and a subliminal radio dude all
That's
in the
right.
same time.
That's right.
That's great. Well, Bob, you have anything else to add?
You know what, folks, if you are looking for a good insurance agent, call Bill. I mean, he has the best rates. He'll find you the best rates, the coverage that you need. He won't oversell you. He won't undersell you. He'll actually show up. He'll talk to you. He'll visit with you. He's a real live person, and like I say, not somebody on a 1-800 line that you'll never see or hear from again. Give Bill a call.
Sounds good. And let's say somebody wants to take a look at that beautiful house that you showed. How do we get a hold of you?
435-703-UTAH. That's 435-703-8824. And no, I don't have a radio voice.
It sounds great. Bob, Bill, thanks a lot for joining us today. We'll see you guys again next time on another episode of Let's Get Real.
This has been Let's Get Real with Bob Richards from Bob Richards and Associates. For more information, buyutah.com. We invite you to return again for another edition of Let's Get Real with Bob Richards from Bob Richards and Associates.